So I walked away from my job. My wife and I spent the whole summer talking about this. Our kids are older now, so it's not a complete, disaster from a family point of view for me to spend a year and a half interviewing for my next job. Which is you go running around from place to place and trying to build a coalition of the willing and all the rest. And I just watched this whole thing play out, and I just said, you know what? I can't stand this. I mean, this is a great state. I love living here. My brothers live here. My parents live here. We grew up here. It's full of really smart, creative, capable people who care about their communities. And they deserve a state government that plays by the same rules that they play by. That's held accountable for what it does every single day the same way we're all held accountable. And I had all that experience before with the Weld folks, and I had that experience turning around Harvard Pilgrim. And I said, you know what, I should do this. I should try and jump in and see if we can turn around the state of Massachusetts. So I get into the race, I leave my job, I get into this race, and everybody starts saying, you've never run statewide for anything before. What makes you think you can do this? And I said, I don't know. I just feel like if I don't, I'll lose my mind. So we go out and we start talking to people, and we do event after event, and we get a lot of people there, and we talk about jobs and spending and taxes and getting people back to work. Pocketbook stuff, kitchen table stuff. And people basically seem to be interested in that, okay? And then what happens? Scott Brown, right? Comes roaring across the plains, trampling all in his sight.
In his pickup truck.
In his pickup truck, with my bumper sticker on the back. And at the same time, he's sort of racing along on this. We're discovering that we're growing a pretty decent base of support. We have 10,000 people who've signed up to be part of Team Baker. We have 8,500 people who've contributed to our campaign. Momentum is moving and growing on all this. And it turns out that, guess what? If you're talking about spending and taxes and holding government accountable, if you're talking about jobs and getting people back to work, if you're talking about creating a fiscally disciplined state government that doesn't think the way to solve its problem is to shove it off onto the cities and towns or pass it along to the taxpayers, there's a lot of people out there who agree with you. And here we are, we're about 9 months out, and I couldn't feel better about where we are at this point in time. And we have a long way to go, and a lot can happen, and obviously Scott sort of woke up the sleeping giant on the other side, and they'll be sure to, take more than their fair share of pot shots at me and everybody else who's here along the way. But I absolutely believe that we are talking about the stuff that the people of Massachusetts want their public officials to talk about. We're talking about the stuff that people care about.